Bahrain, an exotic island kingdom off the coast of Saudi Arabia and the Persian Gulf, famous for falconing and Formula One racing, a land of exotic animals, including camels and thoroughbred horses, a place that contains all the exotic foods a man can stomach, and it is also ground zero for Christmas 2009.
Where we just didn't talk to each other for a few months.
Our first stop in Bahrain is to rendezvous with May, a native of Bahrain and an old friend of mine from my sailing days. Ryan Sheldon had arrived just the day before us.
I already broke the ball.
May wasted no time in introducing us to the local cuisine.
It's basically almond paste. It's told you, it's intense. I can't eat a whole one of these, there's no way.
We spent the first night primarily getting acquainted with Bahrain.
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 It's Bahrain. I don't think I've ever made that toast in my life.
One of our first stops of the day is to rendezvous with May's father, who is a veterinarian for the royal family of Bahrain. He's also one of the most brilliant men we have ever met. In the span of 5 minutes, he told me more about falcons than I thought I could ever possibly know.
Carefully, then they develop disease of the bottom of the foot.
Oh, okay.
I will show you that.
He and his assistant are in charge of all of the falcons for the Al Khalifa royal family, the ruling party in Bahrain. As an example of the graciousness of our host, he offered to let us hold the royal falcons. Here we are, holding the royal falcon in Bahrain.
Guns.
And this is about as good as life can possibly get. We also had the unexpected pleasure of having a royal falconry demonstration arranged for us. May's father wanted to show us how the falcons were actually trained for the hunting trips. Our first stop was one of the royal hunting grounds, where May discovered her father had a little more clout than even she knew.
You're officially guest of Sheikh Rashid Taisa, who is the brother of the current king. Is that right? Brother of the king, yeah. So yeah, we're pretty important right now. This is restricted access.
This is totally prohibited, even to the young royal members or anybody. You have to train a falcon in an open area.
Yeah.
Okay? Where there's nothing will draw its attention.
So, do you train them every day? Or?
Almost, yes. During the hunting season, yes.
A way that a great deal of falcon training is accomplished today is by flying a kite high into the air. The next step is to then attach a pigeon to the kite string. The pigeon itself is wearing a small parachute. The parachute is to prevent any damage the falcon might sustain while coming back to the ground with the pigeon.
And it will land smoothly with the parachute.
Next, a tracking device is attached to the ridiculously expensive bird of prey.
It will be clipped to one of the tail feathers. We fixed a hook there.
Oh, yeah.
These brown streaks, it tells you that this is the second year for the falcon.
Oh,
Okay.
Now that we're introduced to the cast of today's demonstration, it's time to see some action.
They will go and they will release the falcon.
okay.
Okay? And you will watch how the bird will go after the pigeon.
They've released the pigeon up, attached to the kite, which in my head, I think that'd be an awful way to go. I envision myself being tied to a tree as someone releases a tiger into my backyard. It's a poetry of the macabre right now. May's father explains to me that while this may seem barbaric, it is actually a centuries-old tradition steeped in the balance of nature. At last, it's finally time to see the strike in action.
Oh my gosh.
Here you go. Oh yeah.
That was incredible.
We don't want the falcon to kill it. So we try to reach him quickly and give him something else to eat and release that one live. Why? To train another falcon for this kind of prey. Okay? Because he sometimes trains them for specific birds. Okay?
Pigeons, however, are not so lucky. In fact, they're often used to train young falcons how to eat.
Because it's new. See, he's not able to eat quickly. He will teach him where the meat is.
The pigeons will also be used to train the falcon to recognize that once it's landed a prey, its master will give it a treat, thus reinforcing the fact that it shouldn't kill the birds that it brings down.
Meat. See, this is a way to isolate. See, covering the feet and then giving something in the other hand.
The bond between falconer and falcon is a majestic partnership dating back thousands of years. We also got to see a more traditional form of falcon training, in which a bird decoy is tied to a string and used to train the falcon. However, sometimes a more lively approach is required, and if you're out of pigeons, use a seagull. Once your bird of choice is roped up, you release the falcon on one end of the desert, letting it catch sight of the prey and trying to coax it into a strike. The purpose of the exercise is to try and get the falcon into a dive, so that it begins to learn what to do when in the field. At this point the falconer begins to count, for it is said he will not come in until he has flown his bird 20 times a day. Once the trainer is confident that the falcon is working for it, she is finally allowed to enjoy her meal. And this was only one part of the first day in Bahrain.